The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. We're here at Broovies Cinema Pub reviewing more movies this week. I'm Jeff Ice with MSN.com.
And I'm Jimmy Martin with Slug Magazine. You can find the Big Movie Mouth Off on Xfinity Channel 6 or on their on-demand system, Utah On Demand, Salt Lake Alternative. I am never leaving that little folder.
Never, ever?
Okay. I'm staying there till I die.
By the way, we'd like to thank this week's sponsors, Play and Trade SLC, as well as Precision Gaming Repair. For all your video game needs, they have new and used, very cheap, as well as Precision Gaming Repair can not only repair your game systems, they also repair a lot of iProducts, including iPads, iPhones.
iPhones, iPods.
Yep.
Meaning
Cheap. So tell them we sent you.
Sweet.
On this week's show, we'll be reviewing Disney Pixar's latest action fantasy, Brave, as well as Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, an apocalyptic romantic comedy, science fiction thriller maybe. But we're starting this week's show with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Greatest title ever.
A gory horror thriller, tongue-in-cheek, based on Seth Graham Smith's novel of the same name. In this historically revisionist version of events,
I think it's real.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln, it turns out, was trained up at a young age to kill bloodsuckers. He's got revenge on the mind because Dracula killed his mom.
What a jerk.
I know.
You don't mess with the guy in the penny.
History prefers legends to men, soaring speeches to quiet deeds. History remembers the battle and forgets the blood. Whatever history remembers of me, if it remembers anything at all, it shall only be a fraction of the truth. For whatever else I am, a husband, a lawyer, a president, I shall always think of myself, first and foremost, as a hunter.
Fourscore and 7 years ago.
There is darkness everywhere, Mr. Lincoln.
Our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
You know, I like this film a lot. Okay, and I say greatest title ever. Because the title sets up the tone for what you're about to see.
Right.
You walk into a movie called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, you know to immediately, you don't judge the dialogue, you don't really care about the plot.
So what you're saying is this was not based on E.M. Forster.
No. You're supposed to just go there, turn off your brain, and just let the drool come out.
Yeah.
Because this movie is absolutely beautifully, it's beautifully shot. And my God, there's so many beheadings in this. If you made a drinking game out of it, you would die.
You clearly would, or you would become undead. By the way, speaking of the photography, director of photography for this film, veteran DP, Caleb Deschanel. So he's the father of Zoe Deschanel.
Oh, your daughter's hot.
And by the way, it's directed by Timur Bekmambetov, the crazy, I think, Serbian director of Wanted, as well as Night Watch and Day Watch. He's working again with Tim Burton, and it's got his definite visual style. This is full of what I would like to call axe-fu.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you like, it's kind of like Wanted, I would say that he directed was gun-fu, where he's just changing it up a little bit, you know. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you kind of look at it like all the historical parts that they kind of tinker with and stuff, and you're kind of like, it's so absurd.
Yes,
but
like
that's why I love it even more.
Like the death of Abraham Lincoln's son. They find a way to explain that. They find a way to explain some of the bigger battles in the Civil War using Dracula's.
They even tinker with, you know, not giving away Lincoln was assassinated, but they kind of tinker with that a little bit. I mean, like, it's just playing with history and just having fun with it. That's what's so good about it. It's just, you have a good time with this film.
Yes, and at no time did I feel like the film took itself too seriously.
Oh, God, no.
Which is not to say that it's a horror comedy, because it's not.
No.
But it's very tongue-in-cheek. Again,
It's a lot of winking at the audience.
yes, again, if you're going to critique the dialogue and performances and plot for this film,
Then this film's not for you.
yes, I don't believe you're going to find this at an art house cinema anywhere. I
I don't know. I didn't really believe the beheadings.
have that sneaking suspicion. Is it a great film? No. I'm not going to argue that it's a great film. Is it a fun film? Is
Oh,
it a
hell
diverting
yeah.
film? Especially after seeing stinkers like Battleship.
Yeah. Well,
I
and I don't want to kind of go into. I mean, Benjamin Walker.
Yes.
Is our Lincoln, and I'll say this right now. First of all, he looks identical to a young Liam Neeson.
absolutely, which is ironic because he actually played a young Liam Neeson in Kinsey.
But what's even more uncanny is his resemblance to Lincoln. Because the first half of this film is a young Lincoln, finding his stride.
Yeah,
I
he's-
should get into politics, and then
At the same time, getting trained up to kill vampires.
yeah, and then you fast forward, and he becomes president, and when he's got the beard and the top hat, it's ridiculous how much he looks like Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely, but there is a reason for that because he did play Abraham Lincoln on stage. Although one has to think that this is a different depiction of Abraham Lincoln
It
than
is
he did on
slight.
stage. Yes,
This one you're gonna use an axe a lot more,
yeah, and knives.
knives and some guns and some
Yeah.
cool weapons. I had a great time with this film. Like I said, I turned my brain off. I knew exactly what to do walking into it based on the title. And it was fun, So I'm giving it 3 stars.
I'm about there.
Yeah?
I'm also closer to 2.5 in some respects. Again, it's not a great film, and there are groan-inducing elements. And I'll even admit that I did roll my eyes at some of the dialogue, but
Thinking?
yeah, 3. I'll give it 3 because again, unlike films like Battleship, it knows what it is, and
Oh, if it had taken itself too seriously, it would have been awful.
Right.
I mean, you'd just be like, seriously, your movie's about Abraham Lincoln killing vampires. Like, oh God, if someone took that seriously, I would have just punched him.
yeah,
I would have just knocked his top hat right off.
yeah. But more fun than Dark Shadows, by the way.
Yep. Well, 3 stars each. When we get back from this break, we're going to be talking about whereas Abraham Lincoln's the greatest title in a while, the longest title
In a while.
in a while, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. And we'll talk about it when we get back.